Hey guys, what's going on? It's Don here from Novaspirit Tech, and today we are going to be building ourselves a little portable spy camera. So let's get started. So a couple of weeks back, I decided to buy one of these USB charger spy camera things. They're great. They work. It has an SD card slot. It has motion detection, so it could write to the card when it needs to. It's not bad at all. And you also have like an app that you could put on your Android to monitor what's coming through the feed, or you could use your computer, point it to a browser, and that works as well. But in my purpose, it just doesn't work. That's because anywhere in my front door that I kind of want to monitor, it doesn't have an outlet pointing to a front door. It's either being blocked by a couch or a TV, so this basically is useless to be a spy camera, but I guess it would work in a hotel environment where you could just plug it against the wall. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is taking this guy and converting it into a portable spy camera. Basically battery, USB, stuff like that. We're just going to power it and turn it into a tiny spy camera using the guts from inside. So here's a close-up view of how it looks like. So you can see that there's like a pinhole for the camera itself, and each one of these devices have its own configuration. So I'll leave a link in the description to everything that we're going to be using today. But yeah, I found cheaper ones, and I think it has the same camera model, but again, I don't own one, so I don't know. So to begin, we're going to be using this guy, obviously. Now, I'm opting to use a Nikon EL10 battery. I actually use quite a few of these for smaller projects. They're pretty good, 660 milliamp battery power, so they're decent for small projects like this. So we're also going to need some sort of charger and a step-up voltage regulator to push the 3.7 to 5 volts. So I usually opt in for this method. Now you see these battery packs, you can actually pick these up from like Walmart or a lot of cheap places for a couple of bucks. I think they're like $5 each. And I don't necessarily will be using the entire thing, but I will be using the guts. Here's what one of the inside looks like. Like I said, I use these for projects all the time. It has everything that you need, and everything could be repurposed. The top piece over here, as you can see, this is the charger slash a step-up voltage regulator thing, and it also has a push button to start the device, see? And then on the bottom you have the USB plug, and you can unplug it and use this for other projects as well. Then you have your pinouts just for the voltage and stuff. Then you have a 18650 battery, and these batteries are very versatile. You could use them for flashlights. A lot of projects use them, like electronic bikes and stuff. Laptops, older laptops still use these type of batteries. So I would definitely keep this around. Basically, this is all the components that we're going to need for my project, and possibly 3D printing a shell just to fit everything together. So the first step we're going to need to do is to take everything apart, just so we know what type of footprint we're working with. So we're going to do that right now. Okay, so as you can see right now, this whole thing is taken apart. This is the guts and brains of the whole spy camera, which takes a 5-volt input over here. And then this is just a regular, charger, and then it's drawing from the 5-volt output from this side over here. So we're not going to need this connection. We're going to take this apart. And ultimately, I could actually just keep this guy around if I needed a wall charger, but I have plenty of those, so I don't know yet. But first, we're going to have to dismantle all this stuff, desolder all this stuff. And I'm going to be using my USB soldering iron. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. This thing's amazing. I just use it now more often than none, because my big soldering iron takes full. This is just much easier. There you go, the battery. So we have our pieces here. This is basically it to put everything together. That's it. The charging unit, the battery, and then the actual spy camera module itself. I don't need these pins, so I'm going to desolder them right now. Okay, so the first order of business, I don't know how old this battery is. I had it for a while. I don't think I charged it, but it should have enough charge in here just to power everything. But what I'm going to do is connect the positive and the negative terminals to these wires, power it up, and see if I'm able to get some sort of discharge out of it, or to see if everything's working. Alright, here we go. Got the solder in place, and this is how it's kind of going to sit, and I should have desoldered that first, but let's try it out. I'm going to plug it into some sort of power source. it's charging. I'm going to plug that, and I am going to take one of these, plug in the USB module, and then see if it would charge something. And yep, it's working. It's charging. Alright, so I took the liberty of desoldering everything. The pins that we are just talking about is all desoldered. And how everything is going to sit is basically going to sit like this. It's going to be between the battery, this goes on top, and then these pinouts over here will be soldered onto these connections right now. So we're going to put something, I'm going to solder everything together and basically show you the end result and put something together for our testing. Alright, so there we go. Everything's all soldered into place. It's not the nicest job, but it's there. The wires are there. This device is all soldered in. So next thing is to power it up and see if it works. So there's an LED on the side where the programming button is. I'm gonna turn it on, and if that light comes on, then you know it's working. So alright, so good news is it does turn on, but the battery is dead and I have to charge it. So I'm gonna charge this battery and see if it can run on its own juice a little bit later, but since everything's wired the way it is, it does power on the device. So yeah, I'm gonna finish up and measure everything and see what kind of body or chassis I can make for this. In the meantime, I'm also gonna charge up the battery and see how that works. So yeah, that feed was also on 1080. So if you dropped it down to 720, it should be a lot better. But yeah, it's on a 1080 screen, recording at 1080. So it wasn't doing that bad at all. All right, next, let's measure everything. And I'm going to draw up a quick diagram on how I'm going to 3D print a shell for this. Alright, so I finished designing the box, you could say, where the holes go, and I kind of created the board itself. You could see inside it's green and all that, just so I know where, you know, the important points where I gotta avoid and stuff. Like that's the button right there, and this is the big piece that sticks out. I kind of need to avoid the board underneath, stuff like that, and this black piece is a battery. So yeah, that's done. I cut it up and made a quick print just to do some test fits. So here we have that guy right here. So everything does align and go in pretty good, except for the battery. The battery is a little bit snug on the fit, and you know, when battery gets warm it kind of expands a little or stuff like that. So I kind of want to adjust that. I got a spot for the Wi-Fi antenna right here. But yeah, ultimately everything fits pretty good. The rail system that I designed worked out. So the only other thing that I want to redesign on this guy is the 2mm wall. I think it's a little bit too thick, and I kind of want to make it 1.5mm, and that's it. So back to the drawing board. I'm going to change some stuff around and then get that printed up. So it took just about an hour to print. The footprint's really small, so you could see that this whole thing is actually the size of, you know, my hand, or maybe if I got a Raspberry Pi next to it, you kind of could see that it's very small. So in here, I finally got the battery to fit perfectly. It actually has some little bit of a wiggle room. The charger port does fit in there, and it lines up with the rail. Right now it's just test fitting, so I don't have all the stuff inside. I'm still missing this board. I desoldered it just to play around, but ultimately I think everything will fit. On top of that, I also did finish the lens. Let me just show you with my camera here. The lid basically will look like that, and you could see I usually design the actual module that I'm trying to build first with all the specs, so that way I could fine-tune what I need to print. So I'm going to be printing this lid just to see how everything works out, but so far this guy seems to be pretty good. There was a little bit of a hiccup over here. I don't know what my printer was doing at that time, but ultimately it looks small and pretty good. The only concern that I have, which I didn't consider before, was heat displacement, because it might get a little bit warm in this guy, and I'm not too sure of how it will hold up. So this is PLA. It can't retain that much heat, so it might get too hot. I don't know. The button does line up perfectly. I don't know if you could see that. There's like a little silver speck inside, but the button does line up. I'll test that in a little bit once I get everything all together. But yeah, let's move forward, print the other piece, and see how everything turns out. We already know this whole device works. I just want to see at the end how it looks. So guys, it is finally complete. This is the end result of the product. Look how small this thing is. And if you're comparing it to like a Raspberry Pi, see how small that is? It's amazing. This is our own miniature spy camera. So it fits in your hand. If you take a look at the screen, that's how small it is. The button is set on the bottom, which means that this is the right way up. If you put it the other way where the button's facing upward, that's upside down. So it kind of hides all the LEDs. The front lid could be fixed a little bit better, but look, that's where the camera is. And it works, and audio works, but it doesn't sound obviously as good as this. But yeah, thanks for watching, you guys. I hope you enjoyed. I know this project was a little bit longer than I expected, but I had a lot of fun building this. Most of the hard work was in the CAD. Putting it together was pretty easy. It's just the CAD and designing. That's where it takes up most of the time. If you enjoyed projects like this, leave it in the comments below, and I'll try to come up with some sorts of this type of projects if you guys are interested. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing and also hitting that bell notification icon so you know when the next video is going to be out. And to say my nerd cave, hack till it hurts.